The Shaun Attwood on the True Geordie podcast. I mean, there's a lot I could say about this, but people have picked it up already and are saying what needs to be said. Absolutely disgusting, sleazy to the core, as people have been saying. Just one thing I wanted to comment on, which probably nobody will even notice, but the way I look at things is if you can't even be honest with the small, tiny little things, you've got no chance of getting the truth about bigger things. So I wanted to comment on the communion bit. I'll play a little clip, but he says the priest gave him, they were in the church in the prison, and the priest came down and gave him communion. And first of all, he put it to Wildman. First of all, he's telling a funny story of Wildman's antics. First of all, Wildman put it in his mouth, then he took it out of his mouth, put it in his eye, said a few things, did a few antics, and then he flung it like a frisbee and it went flying across the church, hit something up in the ceiling, then hit the priest. I find this ridiculous for a number of reasons. We were laughing our heads off, here when I was telling people. First of all, the priest doesn't come to the seat to give you communion. You actually go up to the altar. The priest stands there and everybody go and get communion. So he wouldn't have come to the seat. Maybe in prison it's different, but I think I would have thought it would have been absolutely the right thing to do for them to, not for the priest to be walking around with communion, going through all the seats. That's ridiculous. The people come up to him at the front. So that's one thing. Second thing is, this communion, it's made out of a very thin wafer. Very, very thin. It melts the minute you put it on your tongue. Very quick. It just disintegrates. So he had it in his mouth, took it out of his mouth, put it in his eye. Not possible. It would have fallen apart. And then, even if it hadn't fallen apart, to throw it, it'd be like throwing a feather. And it wouldn't behave like a frisbee. So that whole story, to me, is just ridiculous. Why would somebody make something that so stupid up like that? It's an illness. This is so strange. Because it's just not possible, what he's saying. And it's such a little stupid thing. You would think, why would somebody make something like that up? Now, to fling a piece of communion, you can't, I don't think you could do it, to be honest. Might fly a little few inches, but not through the church like he's claiming, up, right across, everybody was watching. So I guess my point would be, again, if he's lying about a silly little story like that, or making something like that up, what chance have you got in getting the truth about anything else? He's going to that extremes to make, aren't there enough antics, enough stories that he could be telling? Why does he have to over-exaggerate? Maybe something similar did happen, or he did put it in his eye, whatever, I don't know. But the way he told it, it's not possible. So he's obviously over-exaggerated something or just made it up completely. Is my point. So the integrity, the truth isn't there in the little things. It's not going to be there in the big things. Seriously, it really isn't. That's my experience of all my decades on this planet. You're meant to learn something. I think I've learned quite a few things.
We would sit in the back rows with the Italian mafia guys that we were clicked up with, and Wildman could not whisper. So we're trying to, update our cases and everything, what's going on. And Wildman's voice is just so loud.
He had a booming voice.
Yeah. So in church on the street, Pastor Walt would be like, it stopped the mess. He'd be like, in the end times predicted in the Bible, Revelations, there will be mockers and scoffers. And right now there are mockers and scoffers on the back row. And he'd walk right up to Wildman. And he'd be like, you guys gotta shut up. And I'm like, well, man, you gotta learn to whisper. So, Catholic Mass. We're on the back row having a whisper. The priest comes out and does Holy Communion. And some people are very religious in these services. I mean, the front row, they're all tatted out with like Jesus and Mary tattoos and stuff. And they're already, you know, because Wild Man's whispering, some of the more devout are already turning around and going, "Shut up, you, shut the fuck up," trying to get him to shut up. He doesn't care. But the priest comes up and gives Wild Man communion. As soon as the priest turns around, he takes it out of his mouth, puts it on his eye like he's a pirate with an eye patch. He goes, "Look at me, everyone, look at me. I worship the devil." And then he grabs the communion. The priest, by now, has almost walked to the front of the room. He launches the communion like a Frisbee. And he's already got the entire room to turn around and look at him. He launches this communion like a Frisbee, and it's like chicka, 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 chicka. Everybody's heads go like this. And it skims the roof. It comes down and hits the priest perfectly in the back and rolls on the floor. And he's just like, "I am the devil."
I bet you there was a few
not even
killers
funny.
not really
Unlikely, absolute rubbish.
Well,
I mean, you can tell they're not buying it either. Look at the faces and the reaction. No one's laughing. No one thought it was funny. His laugh is fake. So fake. Absolutely fake. My God, there's nothing legit about this man. This is on the video that Shaun Attwood did for the benefit of his friend, in memory of his best friend who died. And they spoke about him for a little while, and then he went on to his sex antics. As Darren Jesus, he had his arse ripped out of him. And he goes on and talks about it. Bearing in mind, all the Wild Man fans that have been watching, we're watching. Family, friends of Wild Man's, all tuning in. And he goes on and talks about the things he did. There's just no words. I have no words for that. I just have no words for someone like that. You know, this again should sum up what kind of a person he is. And he's sinking at the moment. He's grasping, isn't he? Trying to grasp onto anything. And he's going to drag people down with him, which he is doing. I did do a video last year, over a year ago, a year and a half or something like that, warning about Shaun Attwood. I had, reservations, and I saw which way he was turning and going down a different road, because I was following the Epstein stuff, and I think a lot of people have said this. They started following him because of the Epstein stuff, and he was just repeating what was in the news every day, but it was convenient. Instead of you looking for it, somebody else is doing it for you, and it's easy to catch up, isn't it? That's one reason why I do it. It saves you doing it yourself, but then you're relying on that person to be accurate and to be honest and read the reports and tell it as it is and not add anything. So I started watching him for that, and then I'll put a link for the video. I do say it. Brian Harvey was upset a little bit that he didn't want to do an interview with him, but I think it was a blessing in disguise. Aren't you glad now you didn't? I think you are. You should be, because he's going to take a lot of people down with him. There's a lot of people want to take their name off his channel and disassociate themselves. There's quite a few who want to do that now. And it's been in dwindles at the beginning. There was one or two, but now there seems to be a lot more want to, take themselves away from him and cut themselves off completely. What he does, I've heard people say as well, when he interviews somebody, the tags he uses are disgusting. He'll use paedophile, penis chopped off, all sorts of weird things. And they were saying, they'd call him and say, "Look, can you not associate myself? This is coming up when my name comes up, all these weird things come up, stop tagging these things on my name." But he just ignored them. And I've heard a couple of people say that now. Absolutely disgusting. trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get ahead, and then he's associating them with that. I did notice he puts a lot of tags on his videos, all sorts of weird stuff, a lot of paedophile stuff. And I think, you know, Darren G said it in the James English podcast, which is quite good. He's attracting a lot of the wrong people. He's attracting these kind of people, paedophiles and all sorts of weird fetish people who love that stuff and lapping up every word. So he's obviously catering for those kind of people. He doesn't care about normal people who find this disgusting. He doesn't care. Obviously he doesn't care, because he's just ignoring them and calling them trolls, and he's still feeding these sick bunch. So I think people need to decide what they're listening to as well. Are you following this? Are you following him and all this disgusting nonsense? Is that what you really want? Or are you being led up a dark alley where you don't want to go? In that case, you need to unsub and stop watching. That's what you've got to do. But it's spot on. He is catering for these people now, for the other crowd, not the normal crowd, if you want to put it that way. They love listening to child murders and deaths and disgusting sex with corpses, that's that kind of thing. Well, why is he saying he's an activist for abuse and things like that? He's a bloody disgusting freak, if you ask me. And he's shoving it in people's faces. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even care. Imagine saying that in public. In the public, and he's a public figure, really, in a way. He's got, you know, a lot of subs, and he's saying things he did. Obviously he's gone in the head. He's gone. He's completely gone, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. I'm surprised at True Geordie. I thought they were a bit okay-ish in a way, you know, but they've deliberately gone into this eyes wide open, and it's obviously a setup, isn't it? Relaunch his career. Well, good luck with that. They've gone down in my estimation as well. I won't be watching anything of theirs again. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. Isn't it terrible when you just find out how fake people are, and when there's transparency, it just all opens up, and your eyes just open up as well, and you just see things very clear. And this is what's happening. It's just opening up before everyone's eyes, and you know, people are exposing themselves to what they really are, aren't they? It's been happening for a while now. It's happening a lot as well. A lot of people are just exposing themselves wide open for what they really are. That's good, in a way, isn't it? Well, it's good in lots of ways, not in a way. It's a good thing. This is what we need. They take you to a different planet, don't they? All these alternative media people, honestly. All these alternative media people claiming to be exposing this, exposing that, I'm exposing paedophiles. They're not exposing anything. They're repeating what's already on the news, that the police have exposed and that have been arrested probably a lot of the time. So saying the police don't do anything, why are they using the police information then? The police, you know, when the police catch somebody, they'll use that information. Look, we found this person, we found that person, we exposed this person. They haven't exposed it. They're repeating what's already been done on the news. They're not exposing anybody. Nobody's exposing anybody. Just repeating and recycling everything.
Where they're at, they're promoting nonsense. Attwood is a nonce. He's a fake. Ignore his shout about his rough jail term with Sammy the Bull and all this big I'm a gangster from America. He's gone to America as a queer student. He's ended up getting involved in ecstasy. He's ended up in jail. He's had his arse ripped right the fuck out of him. He's got fact, bro. He's got out of jail, he's come back here with Wildman, invented this fucking story on the back of it. He's gone into schools, he's doing this shit with schools, he's getting kids dressing up as prisoners. The cunt's a fucking nonce. That's my opinion.
I put the link for the podcast there. It was quite good, and there's quite a lot about Shaun Attwood in there. So I've put the link, so have a watch. It's a good 20 minutes or more on exactly what Darren G thinks of Attwood and what he's done to make him feel that way. Thank God he's not going to be going into schools, if that's true. They've stopped it. Can you imagine? He's giving out his card. He's giving these talks to school kids, and they come online and look him up. And they come to, oh, it's a new interview. Let's see. Oh, he's talking about his late friend that he loved. And they come in and they listen to that True Geordie podcast. So this is the danger. And oh God, it's just on so many levels, isn't it? Wrong. Just wrong on so many levels. I think Shaun Attwood has been living in a fantasy world, and it's like he's preparing for a movie. This is all going to be in the movie. It's like a scene from a movie, you know, over exaggerated. And he's like he's setting the stones. What an idiot. It's all fantasy, isn't it? I said I wasn't going to say anything except for the communion bit, but looking at the clips, there's just too much, isn't there? I'd like to wish everyone a very, very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, or Happy Holidays, as they say in the States. Happy Holidays. You know, people don't have to be Christian to celebrate Christmas. You can use it just for eating and drinking and giving presents. That's what it's all about, isn't it? We just spent a lot of money. Well, just went into Marks and Spencer's and bought a trolley load, just loads of goodies for a few days. Big turkey. Turkey's 50 bloody quid. 50 quid for flipping turkey. You could buy a little lamb for that, pet lamb. I'm sure. Have it as a little pet, not eat it. So I wish everybody a very good New Year. It's been a crap 2020 for everybody, hasn't it, really? Well, almost everybody. Maybe not for the 1%. But hopefully 2021 will be much better. Let's all go in positive outlook. We've seen a lot of transparency over the year. Loads of things being exposed. Governments being exposed for the hypocrites and stupid and idiots that they are. We always knew they were idiots, aren't they? What you call stuffy blouses, you know, in those days, someone real stuffy in the bottom of the class and nobody speaks to. These are the people that end up running the country. No personalities, crap, no common sense. We get stuck with them all the time. So let's all hope for positive things in 2021 and wish everybody a very happy new year. Thanks to all my lovely followers who've stuck with me through thick and thin and all the rest of it. Really appreciate you all so much, each and every one of you. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great holiday. Even if you're not religious, enjoy the few days off.